We use them every single day, right? To find pretty much everything, from a dinner recipe to a complicated research paper. But have you ever stopped to wonder how search engines actually work? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly what's going on behind that search bar.
I mean, think about it. The internet is just massive. Billions and billions of pages. It's this huge, kind of chaotic universe of words, pictures, videos. So when you need to find just one specific thing in all that noise, where do you even start? How does that little box somehow find exactly what you're looking for?
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll imagine the internet as a giant library. Then, we'll meet our helpful search engine. After that, we'll get into the 3 magic steps it uses to find information. We'll see how it brings you the best answer, and finally, we'll talk about why this is so powerful for you.
Okay, so let's start with a really simple but I think powerful idea: the giant online library. The best way to understand something as huge as the internet is to compare it to something we can all picture in our minds.
So just picture a library that basically stretches on forever, to the horizon with endless aisles and shelves holding billions of books. In this picture, every single website is a book, and every web page is just a page inside that book. We're not just talking about a big library. This is literally the biggest collection of information ever put together.
Now, in a library that big, you couldn't just wander around hoping you stumble on the right book. No way. You'd be lost forever. You'd need a guide, right? An expert who could navigate all that chaos. So, let's meet our guide.
And that helpful guide is, of course, the search engine. Think of it like a super-powered librarian, a librarian who has somehow impossibly read every single book in this massive library. It knows what's on every page, and, this is the crucial part, it works at an incredible speed.
So when you get right down to it, a search engine is really just a tool with one main job: to be your personal librarian for the internet. Its whole purpose is to sift through billions of pages to find the exact piece of information you need right when you need it.
So how does this librarian work so fast? I mean, it really does seem like magic, doesn't it? But it's not. It's actually a really clever and systematic 3-step process that makes the whole thing possible. It all boils down to these 3 things. First, the librarian has to read everything. We call that crawling. Second, it organizes all of that information into a giant master list. That's indexing. And finally, when you ask your question, it picks the very best answer for you. And that last part is called ranking. Let's look at each one. So, first up is crawling. Search engines send out these little automated programs, sometimes called spiders or crawlers. And their only job is to travel across the web 24/7. They read the content on every page they find and follow all the links to discover new pages. They're basically mapping out the entire internet, which, as you know, is changing all the time. But just reading everything isn't enough, right? The next step is super important: indexing. After the crawlers collect all this information, the search engine has to organize it. It builds this enormous searchable database, an index, that lists all the words and where to find them. Seriously, think of it like the ultimate index you'd find at the back of a book, but for the entire internet. And finally, we get to the part that feels like magic: ranking. This is where you come in. When you type something into that search bar, the engine dives into its massive index. It uses these really complex computer programs to figure out which pages are the most relevant and the most trustworthy answers to your question. It's looking at hundreds of different things, like the word you used, or how many other websites link to a page, to put them in order with what it thinks is the best, most helpful result right at the top. So that's the whole 3-step process happening behind the scenes: crawling, indexing, and ranking. Now let's look at how that actually turns into the list of results you see on your screen every time you hit search.
Let's take an example. Say you ask, what is the capital of India? In just a fraction of a second, the search engine checks its index, it ranks billions of possible results, and then it gives you the most direct answer right at the top: New Delhi. And then, right below that, it gives you other super relevant links, like some quick facts about the city, or even a map, just to give you the full picture.
This whole process, it's just an incredible feat of engineering, isn't it? But what does it all really mean for us? Let's talk about the true power that this technology puts in our hands every single day. Just stop and consider the speed of it all. That whole process of searching a massive index and ranking billions of pages to answer your question, it happens in about half a second. That's literally faster than you can blink. It's almost instant access to the world's knowledge. And it's that speed that makes search so revolutionary.
It really gives you the power to learn anything you want, to satisfy any curiosity, to solve any problem in an instant. The entire world's collective knowledge is basically at your command.
I mean, this instant access to information has truly made the internet the most powerful learning tool ever created. So, now that you know a little bit more about that amazing librarian working behind the scenes for you, the only question left is, what will you learn next?